Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I am the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and we are back with another mock draft. This is a 4.5. Um, I know we said we weren't going to do the 0.5s this year, but this is a special occasion. So on Monday, I believe, Mike Tannenbaum, who is an ex-NFL GM, made the suggestion that maybe, just maybe, the Bears should consider trading Justin Fields instead of trading the number one pick and drafting a quarterback. And a lot of people like, oh my God, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I can see it. I don't think it would happen, but I can see it happening. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a what if they trade Justin Fields, right? We did our 4.0, which was the first last week, which was the first mock draft as the Bears being the official number one pick in the draft. But let's explore what that would look like if they traded Justin Fields. And before we do that, for some of you to think this is ridiculous, why are we even entertaining this? I have 3.5 reasons why they might, right? 3.5. The reason why it's 3.5 is because that half reason, or that fourth reason, really, the same logic for trading him would be the same logic against trading. So let's just go through it. The first reason is the reason why Mike Tannenbaum suggested it in the first place, which is it resets your financial cap. It resets when you have to pay your quarterback, right? Next year will be Justin Fields' third year. So by this time next year, assuming they don't make the playoffs, and I don't think they would, by this time next year, the Bears would have to start at least thinking about extending him. Now, obviously, they can, you know, uh, keep it going for a fourth year, maybe even a fifth year, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the clock starts to tick on when they have to pay him. And if they don't believe that their roster is going to be ready enough to pay him and continue to improve the roster, they might decide that, trading him now would be great so that they could reset the clock. Two, um, the guys in charge right now aren't the people that drafted him. We hear that all the time, right? But it's true. And there's a reason why that happens. If I'm in a job, I don't want to tie my career to somebody that somebody else picked, and I might not agree with the decision. Think about it. The Bears moved up to get Justin Fields, right? They ended up having a bad record last year, which ended up being the seventh pick in the draft, going to the Giants. That seventh pick ended up being Evan Neal. You don't think the Bears could have used Evan Neal, right? One of their biggest issues is their offensive line. Having a young tackle prospect like Evan Neal might have been very beneficial to them. Not to mention, if they didn't trade up for Justin Fields, who knows who they could have gotten with that pick that year. Maybe Justin Fields falls to them anyway, so that they could have still had Justin Fields and had that number 7 pick. So you never know. So again, with that new regime being there, they might not want to be tied to Justin Fields because they might not feel like, hey, we're not the guys that believed in him enough to trade up and get him. We shouldn't have to be tied to him. And so that's usually the case when you see a new regime. Like, no matter how good the quarterback is, they might decide to move on and get their own guy that they can put their faith in. It's like, yeah, this is the guy we wanted. It's unless it was already explicitly ordained that the people coming in are there to develop the guy that's already there. Like, for instance, we're talking about the Chargers. It doesn't look like Brandon Staley is going to lose his job, but if he did, whoever is coming in is probably going to be expected and hopefully in writing that part of their job is to take Justin Herbert and this offense and this team to the next level, right? That's a different situation. The Chargers know they have a young superstar in Justin Herbert. They don't want somebody that's going to come in and trade him away and try to get their own guy. They want somebody that's going to come in and help with Justin Herbert. That might not necessarily be the case with Justin Fields, because one, I believe Matt Eberflus is a defensive-minded coach anyway. So that tells you right away that the priority wasn't Justin Fields. The priority is we just want to get a guy that we think is going to be best for the team as a whole, not necessarily best for Justin Fields. And the GM already said it. It's like, look, we don't want to trade him. We think he's going to be good, but if you give us an offer that that blows us away, we'll think about it. The Chiefs aren't saying that about Patrick Mahomes. The Bills aren't saying that about Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like, so even though I think it's unlikely, it's possible. And number three is this is probably the best time to trade him. Right now, we know that Justin Fields is a great runner of the football. Matter of fact, he's already in the conversation of one of, if not the greatest running quarterback we've ever seen. But we still haven't seen his progress as a passer, right? And so it's a weird situation where he's actually more valuable to other teams than to the Bears, because other teams can see Justin Fields and say, hey, listen, there's at least a foundation there. We at least know that this guy is a generational runner of the football at the quarterback position. We can use that. And they might be sitting telling themselves, we think we could develop him better than the Bears could, right? We might have a better offensive line than the Bears. We might have better receivers than the Bears. We might have better offensive coaches than the Bears. We believe we can still imagine and just imagine what we can do with this guy. Where the Bears, they know Justin Fields better than any other team. They see him in practice, they see him in the film room. They might be sitting there saying, hey, listen, yeah, we know he's a great runner, but we're not even seeing it in practice. There's still inconsistencies with his accuracy. Maybe he's not hitting the film room the way we want him to. Maybe he's still not reading defenses the way we want him to, and protections and coverages and all that stuff, right? They would know that better than another team. So they could probably sit there and say, yeah, you can have him because at this point, we believe he's only going to be a great runner. Or it could be the opposite. They can know, like, hey, it ain't him, it's us, right? We're seeing the progression with his accuracy. We're seeing the progression with him reading defenses and protections and coverages and all that stuff. He's doing everything we asked in terms of putting the work in. It might be us. Going back to points 1 and 2, our roster might just not be ready yet. We don't have the offensive line. We don't have the weapons. We don't have the offensive coaches. So let's do right by him, trade him somewhere else, reset, and give us more time to get all that other stuff together. So that's the first 3 reasons why they would do it. And the third reason, or the half reason, because again, this is the same principle for why you wouldn't trade him as to why you would probably get more for Justin Fields than you would get trading out of that number 1 pick for a few reasons. One, like I just said, you know more about Justin Fields than you do these draft picks, right? Draft picks sound great, but they're just possibilities. You don't know what they're going to turn into. Granted, Justin Fields is not a finished product, but again, we at least know that this dude is a generational talent in terms of running the football at the quarterback position. And again, there will be teams that value that very highly. You don't know what you're going to get with draft picks, right? It doesn't matter who you draft at number 1. You just don't know. Think about it. Zach Wilson was supposed to be the next Patrick Mahomes in that same draft class with Justin Fields. 2 years later, the Jets are having buyer's remorse, right? So Trey Lance in that same draft class, the 49ers traded up to get Trey Lance, 3rd overall pick. They're probably having buyer's remorse. And the guy that they got in the 7th round right now is killing it and leading them in the playoffs. So Justin Fields, at least being an NFL product that you at least have at least some idea of what he is and what he can be still, is better than getting draft picks, right? So that's why it's a half reason to trade him, because the same is true for the Bears. You at least know what you have in Justin Fields a little bit. And matter of fact, like I just said, you know him better than other teams do, so you know what he's capable and not capable of. And it is going to be a crapshoot in the draft, especially this year's draft. This draft class is very weird, where it was supposed to be a really good QB class. It's not nearly as good as we thought it was going to be, and I think there's a small case of, no pun intended, of prodigy effect in this draft. The prodigy effect is basically when you have your Andrew Lucks, your Trevor Lawrences. We're going to see it a couple years in Arch Manning, when you have a QB prospect that's definitely better than everybody else and usually has a lot of hype around him, whoever has that first pick has to draft him, right? You cannot draft somebody else because you can't be the GM that decided to draft this guy when you could have had the guy that everybody knew was the best quarterback. This draft class has a slight, at least in my opinion, has a slight case of that where Bryce Young is clearly the number one quarterback prospect, right? When you look at the tools, when you look at all the things that he can do, he's better than everybody else. The problem is his height or his size or lack thereof, right? He's small for an NFL quarterback. He's skinny for an NFL quarterback. He doesn't weigh enough for an NFL quarterback. But across the board, everybody's like, listen, if he's healthy, he's going to be great. Like a lot of people believe that he's going to be a really good player if you can keep him healthy. Now, small quarterbacks this year have not done him any favors. Tua Tagovailoa especially has not done him any favors. So there's going to be teams that are reluctantly picking him. But it's still one of those things where because he's just head and shoulders better than everybody else, whoever drafts the first quarterback has to draft Bryce Young. And if you're the Bears, you might be sitting here saying, we don't want to draft Bryce Young. We don't have an offensive line. We don't have receivers. We play in Chicago at Soldier Field where it's freezing come November. We don't want this guy getting driven into basically the concrete because that's what it's going to feel like in November and December. The ground's going to be frozen solid. We don't want that. So if they trade Justin Fields, it's going to have to be to a team that they believe that they don't have to take Bryce Young at number one. We'll wait for that second pick to come up, and we'll be okay with either Stroud or Levis. And that way we'll let somebody else take Bryce Young and take all the risk of having to have Bryce Young in their team. And so to me, that narrows it down to only really three teams, but really two. The Texans, the Colts, and the Panthers. The reason why I'm ruling out the Texans is because one, if you trade Justin Fields to the Texans, you're gonna have the first and second pick in the draft, which means with one of those picks, you're gonna have to draft Bryce Young, right? Unless you want to get real crazy and say we're gonna take defensive players 1 and 2, and with that 12th pick, maybe move back up and get a quarterback. But I just think that's a little crazy to do that. So then you're looking at the Colts and you're looking at the Panthers. The Colts are at 4, which would be perfect. You don't have to take a quarterback at 1, knowing that because you're not taking a quarterback at 1, as long as Arizona doesn't trade out of 3, you're going to get the second quarterback in the draft. And whether that's Stroud or whether that's Levis will be up to you, but you will at least get that. And then the Panthers at 9 is interesting because again, technically, you could say, "Hey, we'll pass on a quarterback at 1, hope that one falls to us at 9, or use that 9th pick to trade back up." But again, I think that's very convoluted. Why get all these picks for trading away Justin Fields just to have to use some of them to trade back up and get your guy? So I'm going to go with the Colts. I know I did that trade in our other mock draft, but I think it makes the most sense. If you trade with the Colts, come on, there we go. If you trade with the Colts, you get to stay there at 4. You get to stay there at 4, and you get to get your guy, basically. You can get the guy you want, and you're going to get a lot of draft compensation in return. So here we go. So we are on the clock. We are going to trade with the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to give us 4. They're going to give us 35. They're going to give us this. And I'm going to throw in a 3rd rounder in 2025. And I'm going to give them Justin Fields. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm actually going to throw in I'm going to throw them this 136 pick this year. So, and this to me is way more draft compensation than you would have gotten for the number one pick, right? Because remember, you're keeping your one. So that's the value of that too, right? You're keeping your one, um, and you're able to stay at one. You're getting the 4, you're getting the 35, you're getting a first and a second next year, and you're getting a third in 2025. As a matter of fact, you probably are getting a one, let's be real. So you're getting 3 number ones and 2 number twos for Justin Fields. And that's a deal that would blow any team away. And I think that's what it would take to trade Justin Fields. They're not going to trade him for nothing. But this is the type of deal that would probably get it done. Matter of fact, let me throw in a number 3 in 2025. That's what I'll do. So I'm going to force this trade. And now we're going to draft a player. And then, like I said, now you're at 1, you're at 4, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna go Jalen Carter, like I've said multiple times. If you need both an edge rusher and a defensive interior player, in this draft, you take Jalen Carter because there's more edges you can get. It's a really deep edge class. It's a really, really thin defensive interior class. So you take Jalen Carter. Bryce Young will then go to the Texans. We're not gonna do it. And then if you're the Bears, if you wanted to, you could trade back up to 3 to make sure you get your guy. Or if you're okay with potentially getting Will Levis, you could stay here and get Will Levis. But I don't think the Cardinals are going to trade down with anybody. I don't think. I don't think CJ Stroud is, at least at this point, is going to command enough draft capital for a team to want to do that. So I'm going to go with Will Anderson for the Cardinals, which then allows the Bears to get CJ Stroud here at 4. Now, if you are the Seahawks, are any of these teams wanting to trade up to get Will Levis? At this point, I don't think so. At this point, I really do think that this is, I don't think Will Levis is going to, again, this is a snapshot of time that might change. Right now, I don't think Will Levis is ringing enough bells for people to trade up a lot to get to the 5 pick. So therefore, I am going to have Myles Murphy go to the Seahawks. For the Lions, I'm gonna actually have them take Keely Ringo. I don't think I've done that in a while. I've usually given them like an edge rusher or something like that. So let's switch it up. Go with Keely Ringo. I truly believe that the uh, Raiders are going to get Tom Brady, and because of that, offensive line has to be the priority here. And I guess I'm gonna go with Peter Skoronski because he could play tackle or guard, and I think they're gonna need all the help they can get. Um, and this is a trade I think I've done before, but I kind of want to do it again. Up there, the Jets going up to 8. They got to give up a third. Uh, would they have to give up more than this? This says this trade like this draft simulator is weird. It's one of those things like if they agree with you that this is a team that would trade up, whatever you put is probably going to be accepted. If it's not, then it's like, nah, we don't, nah, they're not going to accept this trade no matter what. Would that be enough? You're only getting a third back. Let's give them a 4th next year. Okay. Trade is accepted. Draft a player. Will Levis trading ahead of the Panthers because they know the Panthers would have loved for Will Levis to get there to 9. Unfortunately, he did not. So now if you're the Panthers, what do you do here? I believe what they would probably do or should do is go corner here. You can get edge later. I really like Cam Smith, the fit here, him and JC Horn together. Quentin Johnson's you can make an argument for Quentin Johnson because the wide receiver class isn't that great, but I'm not going to do that. Uh, and then, I like this Tyree Wilson falling to the Eagles. That's a great pick for them. Boom. The Titans are interesting because it's one or two things. They're either going to go offensive line or receiver. I don't think they're going to go Anthony Richardson. If Will Levis was on the board, maybe that would make sense. I think I'm going to have them go offensive line here to short, because no matter who the quarterback is, they're going to have to shore that up. And they want to be able to run block. So Broderick Jones is the pick here. Cleveland. Houston, they got Bryce Young. They're probably going to want to give him a weapon. This is where you can definitely see Quentin Johnson come off the board. And I think that's a good idea. The Falcons. The Falcons could do a number of different things here. Christian Gonzalez makes sense. Brian Barisi makes sense. Jordan Addison. I kind of like the idea of Jordan Addison too. But I'm gonna go Brian Barisi here. Uh the Patriots. They need some tackle help. After what they did last year, Cody Ma makes a lot of sense. um Harris Johnson, Anton Harrison make a lot of sense. Darnell Wright makes a lot of sense. I might actually go Matthew Bergeron. Again, that would be such a New England move. And they probably have better tape on him than anybody else just because of the proximity. I'm actually gonna do that. Um for Green Bay, Michael Mayer makes a lot of sense. Offensive line makes a lot of sense. I refuse to have them draft a receiver because until they draft a receiver in the first round, I'm not going to predict them that they do that. And again, I think they're patting themselves on the back because Christian Watson had a strong end to his season. So they're probably sitting there saying, yeah, we did it again. We found another round two receiver. So why would we do it again this year? Um Brian Branch makes sense as well. They usually like to go defense here. But I'm gonna give him Paris Johnson, fix that offensive line a little bit in case Aaron Rodgers comes back. You need to have a good offensive line. Washington. I don't think I've ever had them take Anthony Richardson. Because I just don't think they would ever take Anthony Richardson, to be honest with you. I don't think that's Ron Rivera's style of quarterback. If anything, they would try to get Tanner McKee in the second round. So I'm actually gonna have them go Christian Gonzalez here. Um, I always have Joey Porter Jr. going to the Steelers. I kind of want to switch that up a little bit, but I mean, if not, it would be Devon Witherspoon. I think to me, corner has to be the pick here. There's no unless all the corners are gone. There's no way that isn't the play here. In my opinion. In my opinion, there's no way corner isn't the play here. Um, who's willing to trade with me? Can't say because it says the Dolphins. Hell no. Okay, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go Joey Porter Jr. because again, to me, this has to be a corner. We desperately need another corner. If Joey Porter Jr. is here, to me, in my opinion, he's the best corner available left. Plus, I know they're gonna have more tape on him. Plus, his dad was a Steeler. That whole thing. Um, I know there's some Steeler fans that want Jordan Addison. I'm never gonna do that. I, that's the stupidest thing ever. To me at least. But it like the Bengals, like that was a totally different situation. Kenny Pickett is not Joe Burrow. Jordan Addison is not Jamar Chase. And we have way more needs than the Bengals. The Bengals, it was literally offensive line. And they still, they're still looking for offensive line players, but totally different situation. Okay, the Lions. What did I have them? I think they had them get Keely Ringo. Nice. So here, Bijan. I like Bijan. They could go Nolan Smith. What other edges are here? Let me just see real quick. Uh they could go linebacker, and maybe we do that. Trenton Simpson's not bad. I like that pick for them. I know I had Anthony Richardson going to Seattle last time. Does Anthony Richardson going to Tampa Bay make sense? Again, I think Tom Brady's gone. But again, I think that's another team that will probably prefer a Tanner McKee in the second round. So I'm not gonna go there. Um, offensive line could be something. Offensive line, but see, their offensive line was hurt last year, this year. So I don't know if they necessarily need offensive line or they just need to get healthy at the offensive line. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives. Um, yeah, they were so injured. I don't know. I feel like they would want to trade back in this spot. Let's see who would want to trade back with them. The Panthers could trade up and get an edge, but they're not going to want to trade out of the first round. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Let's see who's back here that would consider trading up. Oh, I know one. I know a fun one. Let's do this. Why don't we have the Giants trade up to 19? Uh, give up a third. Is that enough draft compensation? We're going to what, 6 picks? Yeah, third rounder for 6 picks. Man, that's not bad. Let's have the Giants go up and get themselves a receiver in Jordan Addison. I know they kind of have quick, fast receivers already, but still. Um, okay. Last time I had the Seahawks take Anthony Richardson. I'm not going to do that again. They got Miles Murphy this time. Mm-mm-mm. Miles Murphy this time. Who else could they get? Again, they do so well at getting defensive backs later in the draft that I don't feel comfortable. But see, that's why the Anthony Richardson is such a this is a luxury pick for them. You know what I mean? They still have, I believe, two second rounders. And like I said, the value here is at the defensive back position, but they don't need that. They are so good at finding them later on in the draft that they don't really need to do that. So I feel like they would want to trade back. Tampa doesn't make sense. They just traded Falcons, the Commander. Um, they could trade back with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys see somebody they really like, let's try that. Let's try that. Boom. The Cowboys could go get Brian Bryant. Well, they need a corner. They need a corner to go with Diggs. Yeah, let's have them do that. Okay. The Chargers. Michael Mayer is a item here. Jackson Smith and Jigba could be an item here. I think I did Michael Mayer last time, so I don't want to do that again. I'm trying to switch it up. You know what I mean? Do they still need offensive line help? I don't remember. See, this one doesn't do a good job of like giving you the needs, so it's hard to remember what everybody needs and wants to do. All right, I hate to do this, but just to be safe, because I don't want to have y'all draft a bad fit either, right? I know you could use an upgraded tight end. I know getting Justin Herbert more weapons is a priority. Is there any tackles still left on the board? Hold on, let me see real quick. So I feel like they still need offensive line help. I feel like that's a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. The Ravens. Lord have mercy, y'all need to get this boy some help. Jackson Smith at Jigba would be nice, but he's more of a slot guy. They have Zay Flowers ranked 19th. What the hell? What the hell? They might need to draft Anthony Richardson. This isn't about the Lamar Jackson draft. Maybe we do that another time, but this could be the pick. This easily could be the pick. Let me just see. Let me just see. Let me just see. Let me just see. Knowing them to go Michael Mayer. I'm gonna say they go save flowers that early. No way in hell they go that save flowers that early. No way they go save flowers that early. What's crazy is they updated their so it looks like they updated their board. I just, oh, they added Justin Shorter here. Oh, interesting. Did they add? No, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Hmm. Jalen Hyatt is somebody I can see. Assuming they're bringing back Lamar Jackson in this version of this draft, receiver has to be somebody they consider, right? Jackson Smith and Jig was more of a slot guy, and I guess you can make the argument that that would work, but they need to attack the outside. You know what I mean? Like they got with Mark Andrews and all those tight ends they have, they're good at attacking the middle of the field. They need to be able to attack the outside. So I don't see Jackson Smith and Jigwood being that. Jalen Hyatt could be somebody that they would utilize in that sense. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, Jackson Smith and Jigwood definitely is somebody I can see them utilizing, but they need some help on they need some corners. They need some corners. They need some corners. They need some corners. Why is Clark Phillips ranked this low? Um, I'm going to have them take Jalen Jones. Now, here's where Michael Mayer makes so much sense. Boom. Uh, and now if you are Tampa Bay, I'm just gonna say they fixed the offensive line. I don't. Again, I'm guessing that they need offensive line help. Okay. Now, if you are Seattle, you're right back where you started. What can you use? I really do like Anthony Richardson for this team. Again, it's a luxury pick. You traded back, so you got even more picks. I really do like Anthony Richardson for this team. Um, there's a lot of good guys. I just don't know. Seattle doesn't need. That's the thing. Seattle doesn't need much. They got a pretty good overall squad, and that's what I'm saying. A guy like Anthony Richardson here makes so much sense. They could develop him behind Gino, and he's the one that could pass the torch and take them to the next level in a couple years from now, right? Gino is your bridge guy. Anthony Richardson is very raw, so he doesn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder, right? I mean, I love that pick for them. I really do. I really do. Uh, the Bengals, they definitely need to get some offensive line help. Bad. Offensive line looking a little banged up. Okay, Denver. Denver can use they trade away Bradley Chubb so they can use some edge help. Um Nolan Smith is interesting. Antonio Johnson's interesting. Who's their tight end right now? I feel like offense has to be considered here because they got to get Russell Wilson going. What's going to help him do that? Uh, it's another team that could consider trading back. They need draft picks. They need draft picks. You know what I mean? Um, Kansas City trading with Denver. I mean, we've seen it before with in division trades, but I don't know about that. Let's just get him some edge help. Um, I love Bijan Robinson to the Bills. I think Brian Branch being here is another big one. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. That's a great pickup for them. That's a great pickup for them. And I've seen this in another mock draft, and I kind of like it. Jackson Smith and Jigba going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. And this is nasty as well. Bijan Robinson falling to the Eagles. Lord have mercy. Okay, the Steelers. We went corner. We went corner. We can use some help on the offensive line. We can use a linebacker. Um, assume I want to hold off on linebacker because I feel like between us getting Tremaine Edmonds and us just developing Mark Robinson, I think they're kind of good on linebacker. Apparently, they're really high on Mark Robinson. Former Steeler linebackers are big on on Mark Robinson. Some of them talking about he has a lot of Lawrence Timmons in his game, and so who am I to argue with ex Steelers linebackers if that's what they see in Mark Robinson? So as much as I would love to get Drew Sanders, I think I'm gonna wait on that. Mozzie Smith is somebody that I would definitely consider here. That might actually be where I go for this pick. That might actually be where I go for this pick. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Mozzie Smith here. So we get our corner, we get our defensive interior. That's probably the two biggest needs. Linebacker is a huge need. I just think, as of right now, I think they're either gonna throw the bag at Tremaine Edmonds. I think they're gonna bring back Robert Spillane, and I think they're gonna either throw the bag at Tremaine Edmonds and or develop Mark Robinson. So I don't know. I think we'll get a depth piece at linebacker later. Okay. So I believe we went Quentin Johnson, right? Yes, we did. Perfect. I think now we should continue to stack up uh, some talented weapons for our quarterback to throw to. It's an offensive league. This is what you got to do. The Cardinals went um, Will Anderson in the first round. They can use. They're trying to trade DeAndre Hopkins, which means they could use another receiver. Zay Flowers is interesting here. I still think it's a little too early for that. That's just me. They could use some offensive line help. Who's still here at offensive line? Ooh, yeah, it's getting a little. It's getting a little. Yeah, you might have to reach for an offensive line unless you want to trade back. Let me see if they could trade back. You know what? I am gonna have them trade back. I am gonna have them trade back. I am gonna have them trade. I'm gonna have them trade back with where are they? Where are they? Why don't I see them? Oh, here we go. I'm gonna have them trade back with the Panthers. Um, they're saying I was overselling. Okay, all right, cool. That's fine with me. I ain't gonna complain. What happened? Oh, we're not doing this. Okay. Again, and you've heard me say this before. Getting that edge. BJ Ojolari, baby. Getting that edge. Oh, love it. Especially your oh yeah, that's great because you're trading in front of the Bears who also would have loved to get edge help as well. They can still do that. There's still some really good edges on there's some really good edges still here. Like they're good. Um, but if you are can you afford to go? Can you afford to wait on you have 2 second round picks, by the way. So yes, you can afford to wait. So why don't we get some edge help with Nolan Smith? Uh tackle. Yeah, the value's just not here. And maybe y'all would want to trade back too, get some more picks back. What do we do with the Titans in the first round? Hmm. Titans. Titans be trading up for though. Titans might be desperate enough a wide receiver to trade up to get Zay Flowers. No, but Cedric Tillman's still here from Tennessee. I think that's a play they might want to go with. Um, Rams will probably want to trade back and get some more picks. Replenish some of that stuff, but they don't have a lot. Matter of fact, where are the Saints? Yeah. I like that. Let's do the Saints. See, what I'm saying they're not interested in trading for this pick. Like, how do you know that? You're just making that up. um, trade up, trade down 4 spots. I think 147 is, and let's get them their quarterback. Let's go get them Tanner McKee. I love that. Okay, Seattle back on the map. Seattle, maybe looking at linebacker, maybe looking at uh the good thing about Miles, but see, the good thing about Miles Murphy and Tyree Wilson is they're big enough where they can kind of kick inside if you want to. So if you wanted to, you could go edge here and try to kick one of them inside. I love, and maybe it's just because he went to Oregon State. I love Luke Musgrave for this team. Who they have? They have Noah Font, who's just okay. Who's their other tight ends? Yeah, I like that pick for them. Okay, the Raiders. They have Brady. We went offensive line. I don't think they need weapons. What they could do though is try to get that defense together. Defense was not that great. Eli Ricks is still on. There's still some really good corners on the board. Eli Ricks, Emmanuel Forbes, Garrett Williams. Oh, Clark Phillips. Yeah, no. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And matter of fact, the Cardinals should probably also go corner. They can use it. They got their edge rusher already. Again, the D tackles is not where it's at. Um, yeah, let's go Eli Ricks here. LA traded back. This is a little bit better in terms of the value for the tackles positions. I'm gonna go with Blake Freeland. Tennessee hasn't picked yet. They haven't picked it in the first, second round. Okay, this is where I'm okay with Zay Flowers. I think they would probably go Tillman just because of the Tennessee connection. So we're gonna go with that. The Browns are definitely gonna probably want to go receiver, try to get as many weapons as they can. I like Parker Washington, a bigger receiver. Let me see. Wait, let me just make sure there's nobody I'm missing here. Yeah, Justin Short is a guy I gotta keep an eye on. Jersey kid. I covered him in high school, by the way. Uh, yeah, Parker Washington's a guy. I mean, Zay Flowers could definitely go here. I don't know. I just feel like I had Parker. I just feel like Parker Washington. No, Zay Flowers is a good player. I don't know why I'm disrespecting him like he's not. Okay, the Jets, they trade up, they got their quarterback. They definitely need to go offensive line here. I'm gonna have them take Donald Jones. Boom. The Falcons, what did I have? The Falcons took Brian Brzee, correct? Yes, they did. I think I'll also have them go corner. And I think I'll also have them go corner. Emmanuel Forbes is a guy that's pretty good. Uh Green Bay went offensive line, correct? Yes. Green Bay with offensive line. I think tight end is something they would consider here. Yeah, blocking tight end that could also pass it. That's the freaking Packers. Um, the Patriots, they also went offensive line. Let's see them go receiver here. Help Mac Jones out. And this is where Parker Washington will definitely go. And now, if you're Washington, man, you would have loved to freaking maybe you gotta pull the trigger on Anthony Richardson here. You don't need receiver. I think I had him go Christian Gonzalez in the first round, I believe. Yep. So you got your corner already. Got your corner already. There's no quarterbacks left. There's no quarterbacks left. Antonio Johnson's still on the board. I'm wilding. He's got to go somewhere. He's got to go somewhere. He's got to go somewhere. Antonio Johnson's still on the board. He's got to go somewhere. Is that to Washington? Washington's defense is pretty decent, though. I don't think they need a safety. They need a quarterback. That's what they need, but there's just not a quarterback here for them to take. Now, granted, we don't know where Derek Carr is going to go. We didn't factor that in. We don't know where Lamar Jackson's going to go. We didn't factor that in. The only thing we factored he was Brady because I think that's a done deal. There's no point even worrying about that. Got some receivers. Their front seven is usually really good. Could they use another linebacker? I don't know. I don't know. That's the crazy thing. They really just need a quarterback. Mm. Maybe we give them edge only because there's been some issue with what's old boy's name? The one that was hurt. Um, you know what I'm talking about, dude from Ohio State that they drafted number 2 overall a couple years ago. So maybe they get some edge depth just to help, just so they're safe and leverage in that on that front. Here's where I'm definitely going Antonio Johnson. Right? They have we addressed the corner position yet? The Lions have had a few draft picks. They went Trent Simpson, love it, and they went Keely Ringo. So yeah, so they went corner already. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. They can still probably use another edge rusher, but again, there's still some good edge rushers left on the board that they can do it. Okay, my Steelers are on the board. So we got our corner, we got our defensive interior player. We can go linebacker here. We definitely can go linebacker here. Offensive tackle is probably a bad. I know nothing about Cody Ma. I'm not gonna have us take Cody Ma. That's just stupid. Yeah, you might go Drew Sanders because he's best player available, man. I like it. I actually like it. We could go guard too. That's not terrible. I like that for us. Let's go Drew Sanders. Those are our 3 biggest needs if we're being real. I kind of like that for us. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, Tampa Bay. They went Osiris Torrance. Okay, so you already hit the O line. I don't know. Oh yeah, damn. We just screwed. Oh no, there's still linebackers on the board. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. They're good. Yeah, this is actually perfect value. They're good. Okay. Seattle has been killing it in this draft. Per usual. They got Luke Musgrave. They got Anthony Richardson. They got Miles Murphy, right? Yeah, yeah, Miles Murphy. They're killing it. They are kind of killing it. And like I said, if they want to, they can go double edge and see if one of them can kick inside. Let's try that. Another Pac 12 player that they'll probably have a lot of tape on and will feel comfortable with. Let's do that. Miami's on the clock. They need, they don't need much either. They need a quarterback. They just need their quarterback to stay healthy. They don't need much either. They can probably use some help on defense. Let's see what the corners are looking like. Yeah, I think I did this last time, but I kind of like it. The Chargers. What did I have the Chargers do? Anton Harrison, like that. Here's where we can definitely go. Yeah, I like that for them. Might be a little bit of a reach, but again, some of these teams, like, they really aren't, you know what I mean? They just need to stay healthy. They got what they need, you know what I mean? For the most part, they just got to stay healthy. Okay, the Bears. We know they went Jalen Carter. We know they went Nolan Smith in 35. Okay. That's what I wanted to know. They went Nolan Smith. So they got their edge help. Let's also get them some interior lineman help. Boom. He could play center. He could probably play guard. He's from the area. They probably have a lot of tape on him. They're good. The Lions. They went Antonio Johnson. Love that. Lions, another team killing it. Trent Simpson. Love that. I don't think we went edge yet. We have not. Let's see what the edges are looking like. Still some good ones. Still some really good ones. I like Isaiah McGuire. I like Felix. Um, Will McDonald, I guess. Now they could go Mike Morris here. Other Michigan guy teamed him up with Aiden Hutchinson. I kind of like that. Let's do that. The Jaguars. Did I give them Michael Moore? Michael Mayer, I think. I think I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. Okay. So with the Jaguars, they kind of need some defensive help too. They've kind of given up a lot of points and have had to come back in the past. Let's see what the corners are looking like. THT is still here. Garrett Williams, obviously the injury is what concerns you. Like whoever gets him is probably gonna have to be okay with him sitting out, most of his rookie year. That's the only reason why he's not ranked higher on this. Um, Offensive line. Interior is probably where the interior line is where the depth is right now. Oh shoot, Andrew Voorhees is still here. Oh shit. See, I hate when they do this. Why do they push him down on their board? Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing? The Giants, they went up and got a receiver, if I remember correctly. They traded up and got Jordan Addison. Love it. So now I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna give him THT. See, I kind of like Garrett Williams here for them because he's got so much upside. Again, you just gotta hope that they're ahead of schedule. You know what I mean? Like they're ahead of schedule. Yeah, I think the value is there. It's good. The Cowboys. I've done this a couple times, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Bang. The Bengals are another team. They could go running back. What did I think they went offensive line in the first round. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that for them a lot. I like that for them a lot. I like that for them a lot. Bam. The Panthers, they've also been killing it. They got their edge, they got their corner. They would have loved to get a tight end, but right now all the tight ends are taken, so they're gonna have to wait a little bit. Yeah, all the tight ends kind of came off the board, but wide receiver is still here. They got some good ones. Rasheed Rice is a player that they can definitely think about getting. Um, oh, let's look at linebacker. Is there still some linebackers on the board that they would want? Marvion over. Oh, Noah Sewell's still here. Hmm. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know why. Some people are really down on Noah Sewell. Apparently, so is PFF. Noah Sewell is weird. Some people are really high on him. Some people are really low on him. I'm gonna go with overs on here. Yeah, let's go linebacker. We can get a receiver in the third round. Um, Buffalo took yeah, they took Brian Branch. Nice, nice. And you know what? I think getting I think getting Syracuse guy in Buffalo makes all the sense to me. The Chiefs, they don't need shit. They're good. They're getting luxury picks at this point. They could definitely probably just take a chance and see Ika, see where that goes. Boom. The Eagles. You know what I kind of want to do? You know what I kind of want to do? Just to switch it up, just to oh, that's such a far pick. They're gonna have to trade up a lot. But let's do it only because let's throw in 185. Oh, really? That's all it would take? Oh shit. Well, that's all it's gonna take. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it because they've kind of hit all their needs. We got a linebacker, we got a corner, we got an edge rusher. Now that we didn't have to give up a whole lot to move up, we can take Rashi Rice here, or whatever, Rashi, whatever, however you say his name. Let me just make sure there's nobody else here. Yeah, nah, he's the guy we want. You can do that, and that would allow you, because then the only thing, again, you're not going to get a quarterback in this draft. This draft class is just not it in terms of, you missed out on the quarterbacks, unfortunately. But it allows you, so you'll probably just bring back Sam Darnold, or again, you could probably try to get Derek Carr in the offseason, something like that. But yeah, if you do that, if you bring in a veteran quarterback, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, something like that, and you get your corner, you get your edge, you get your linebacker, you get your receiver, you have other picks to throw at tight end. There you go. So here's what we did. Justin Fields is now an Indianapolis Colt. That's why we did not see them in this draft. They got their guy, CJ Stroud. They replaced one Ohio State quarterback for his predecessor, and CJ Stroud. And it's kind of ironic because their games are like two totally different things. CJ Stroud is like known as a pocket passer. The question is his mobility at the next level, whereas Justin Fields, his mobility is his strength. we'll see about how he could progress as a pocket passer. But while doing that, they were able to get Jalen Carter. They were able to get C.J. Stroud. So already a win. Let me just focus on them real quick because they were the subject of this video. And they were able to get Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith, and I think we're able to get offensive line for them as well. Yeah, wasn't a tackle, but they got some interior help, which is nice. And so yeah, you're able to, by trading Justin Fields, you were able to hit a lot of needs. Obviously, Jalen Carter was just the best player available. They didn't necessarily need him, but when you have a generational guy at the position, you take him. And if they wanted to, they still could trade this pick down. You know what I mean? Like you at 4, again, you know that if you're okay with Stroud or Levis, right? You can still try to trade this number 1 pick, knowing that Stroud or Levis will go at 2, and then you're okay with picking up whoever you have at 4. Now, again, if you trade 1 as well, you probably then have to turn around and trade up to 3 to make sure you get a quarterback, right? You can't have Arizona screw you by trading out a 3 and now you're not even getting a quarterback. Um, you know what I mean? Like if the Panthers don't get a veteran and they say screw it, we got to get 3 because the first 2 quarterbacks are gone and we just have to do what it takes to get up to 3, you're screwed. So but again, you get Jalen Carter, you get C.J. Stroud, you're able to get Nolan Smith as your edge help. You're able to get some offensive linemen. You didn't get a receiver yet, but again, this is all in the first 2 rounds. You still have all your picks later on in the draft, and there's some valuable wide receivers in the 3rd round you can get. Um, there's some tackles you can get in the 4th round. Not to mention, you have a 1st and a 2nd coming next year. So that's all I'm saying. To say that it's not feasible to do a Justin Fields trade, I don't think so. If a team blows you away with an offer, like they said, if a team blows us away with an offer, we'll consider it. There you go. Um, I think this was a good draft for most teams. There are some teams I honestly I don't know what they need. That's the one problem with PFF. They only tell you if they need a quarterback. They don't tell you like the rest of the needs for the teams, unless I'm missing a feature that I'm just not paying attention to. Um, but yeah, so some of these might be a little off because I'm just guessing at this point of what these teams. Some of them I know off the top of my head, others I don't. Uh, but yeah, I mean, and even here, instead of Nolan Smith, what was the next tackle off the board? They could have went tackle here at, you know what I mean? Instead of Nolan Smith, they could have went tackle. Uh, but to be honest with you, that was probably the only other player I would have thought about getting anyway. So yeah, getting the best value at Nolan Smith was key there. So again, if you're a Bears fan, how do you feel, right? If this is how the draft looks, right? If you trade Justin Fields, you get Jalen Carter, you get C.J. Stroud, you get Nolan Smith, you get John Michael Smith as your first 4 picks. How do you feel? Are you happy? Are you pissed? Let me know. All right. You can find me at Never Regret Me. That's NEVA underscore the number 4 BRETT underscore ME on Instagram and Twitter. We are at the underscore dope blog on Instagram, the dope blog on one word on Twitter. And join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.